Concept 2, factoring out a common binomial factor. Alright, so we can factor a binomial, and we do it the same way as when we are factoring out a monomial. Alright, so here I have 5x squared plus 3x. If I'm going to factor that, I'm going to look through, I'm going to see what my common factors are. I've got 5, which is prime, 3, which is prime. So really I've just got the x in common. Okay, and one step that often I don't take, but can help to illustrate what we're doing, is to change this to, instead of 5x squared, we have 5x times x, and instead of 3x we have 3 times x. Okay, and then from there we're pulling the x out of both of those terms to the outside, which leaves us with x times 5x plus 3. Okay? Now, when we're doing this with a binomial, we have the same process. We are just going to be factoring out those two terms instead of that one term. Okay? So I have 5x times x plus 2 plus 3 times x plus 2. My x plus 2 are common. Okay, they're the same as this 1x here. That's my common factor between these two binomials. All right, so I'm going to pull those out and have x plus 2, and they're multiplied by what's left, okay, which is my 5x and my 3. Okay. And if I was going to go ahead and multiply this out, well, I would have the same thing, right? I'd be foiling, and unfortunately I wrote this backwards. Let me switch that around so it's a little clearer. So I have my x plus 2. It's a little more what we're used to. So if I FOIL, I'm going to do 5x times x and 5x times 2, or 5x times x plus 2, right? And I'm going to add that to 3 times x and 3 times 2, or 3 times x plus 2. Okay, so this foiling, that's how we know we can work backwards in this way. Okay, that's how we know we can factor out the polynomials. All right. So let's look at another one. So now I've got x times x squared plus 2 plus x squared plus 2. Well, I know I'm going to factor out my x squared plus 2. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. And I'm going to write it on the left because I think that, or sorry, I write it on the right side because I think that actually makes it a little easier to see. Okay, so I pulled that out, and now what I have left is I've got my x, okay, and that's pretty clear, plus, but I don't have any number there. If I don't have any number, I'm just going to have a 1, right? Because x times x squared plus 2 is going to be that. 1 times x squared plus 2 is going to be just x squared plus 2. Okay. All right. One last one. Now we're getting into a little more complicated stuff. We've got, instead of just the same binomial already kind of pulled out for us, they're not the same. Okay, and if they're not the same, I can't just pull them out. I can't say that this is 5x plus 3 and this is 2x and this is 1. It doesn't work, right? These are not common factors. So what I've got to do is make them common factors. All right. So I've got to figure out a factor from these two terms that I can pull out to make this binomial equal to 5x plus 3. All right. And when I look at this, I see that 15x is 3 times 5x, and 9 is 3 times 3. So I should be able to pull out a 3 and be left with 5x plus 3. Okay, I'm just pulling out my monomial. I'm factoring out my monomial, And then I'm left with two binomials which are equal, 5x plus 3. And now I can pull those out. I can factor those out and have 5x plus 3. And my other binomial is going to be 2x plus 3, because that's what's going to be left when I factor those out. 2x plus 3. There we go. And that's my factored binomial.